Good evening and welcome to this week's episode of The Chop with Marvin Lee. I do apologize. I had a migraine last week, so I missed. And tonight, what I want to talk about is going to tie into how I felt and the things that are necessary that one must continue to do when one has a plan or a vision or a mission or it's create newness, so to speak. So again, I'd like to welcome you all to this episode of Chop with Marvin Lee. We finished up the about faith, about patience. We were talking about patience. So this week I want to talk about being committed to. There's a certain there is a certain art that is required to be consistent. So I want to talk about consistency this week because if we are to develop better habits, and I know I can speak for myself, there are things that I want to do in terms of my own life goals that I have, and it requires consistency, right? No matter what my efforts are, when I'm committed to something, there has to be consistency in the process. Now, there does not need to be a scriptural reference for this, but you guys know me. I'm one of those people that I always like to pull into the conversation why I feel, why I feel the way that I feel. So that's one thing I'm going to start with, just to kind of anchor the subject. And basically, 1 Corinthians 15:58 says that, therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as you know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. And for me, the steadfastness or the being immovable piece, that for me is talking about consistency in what I believe, consistency in what I've committed to, consistency in the lifestyle that I want to create for myself. I have to create winning habits, and it has to start with a winning attitude. So I have to be committed to me, I have to be committed to my process, and I have to be committed to the mindset or the mind space. I have to create a positive mind space, and then I have to be consistent, or I have to be deliberate, intentional with my efforts and my actions. So again, going back to microphone, I don't know what you guys just heard and what you didn't hear. My mic keeps muting itself somehow, and this has never happened before. But regardless, I don't know what you guys did hear or did not hear. So let me just kind of take it from the top again. So I'm talking about the consistency of creating better habits, right? Or creating a better, a positive mind space, or just a positive space, period. The consistency piece for me means that I am I'm steadfast, I'm deliberate, I'm intentional, I'm being purposeful. That's not the word I'm looking for. I'm deliberate about what it is that I am doing, the process that I have undertaken. I have to be committed to this process, and then I have to allow my actions to remain consistent around that. If I'm going to develop those better habits, right? If I want to change the way that I live, I have to first change the way that I think. And when there's a consistency in the way that I'm thinking, there will be a consistency in the changes that occur, right? Because I'm developing winning habits. I'm tearing down negative thoughts, right? I'm tearing down limiting beliefs. Creating I'm creating winning habits. I'm creating a positive space for myself so that I can, because it's been said that we attract what we want, and that is not true. We attract what we are. If I am always being drawn to drama, or drama is being drawn to me, that is because I am addicted to, I am given to, I am a person that energy is present with me, right? Like energy attracts to like energy. Light doesn't cohabitate with darkness. One exposes the other. But where there is light, you around more light, there's more illumination. Where there is darkness and you get around other dark energy, there is more darkness, gross evil darkness, because again, you attract what you are. So that being said, if I want to attract love, that means I must be a loving person. And by default, if I am a loving person, I am automatically uh, shifting the loving energy towards me. I'm being drawn to the thing that's being drawn to me. We're seeking each other out because that's what I am. It's a corresponding energetic reaction, right? So at any rate, and I want to talk about that. And the reason I don't know where that came from, and why this is the topic that I started with today, because again, we just finished up the series talking about, let's talk about patience. Letting patience have her perfect work in you, and a part of having patience having its perfect work is the consistency that is required, and the discipline that must be developed, because that's really what consistency is all about. It's about discipline. It is about stick to itiveness. It is about the commitment. It is about me being immovable, being unshakable, setting boundaries for myself. Whenever I am being consistent with my efforts, my actions, anything or anybody that would hinder that, I have to create a boundary, and I have to be deliberate in enforcing that. Because at the end of the day, you are not responsible for enforcing my boundaries. I am responsible for enforcing my boundaries. I teach people how to treat. I don't know why my mic keeps muting itself, but we're gonna get through this tonight. This is probably not gonna be very long, because I really do not want to have to be fighting constantly with this microphone. Like, I just don't. And that's how I know that there's a message that I really need to deliver, because I've not had any issues on this platform before. So whatever. But again, it's and I'm learning how to consistently show up. One thing that I've decided to do, and you guys have heard me talk about how I feel like, this is an avenue or a platform that God has given me. And little becomes much when you place it in the master's hands, right? You may start small, but you won't stay small. I don't have to know the plan. I just need a piece. I don't need to know everything all at one time. What I do know is that August the 7th of 2023, the day after my birthday, I decided to launch this podcast, which I had already started prior, but I wasn't consistent with it. And then I decided that I need to commit to this. And once I commit to this, then I have to remain consistent with showing up, right? Because if I believe that this is what I'm supposed to do, the more that I commit to it, the more work that I bring forth, that I put forth into this project, the more energy that I'm expending into this endeavor. It says I believe in what I am doing. And because I believe in what I am doing, there's a corresponding set of actions. And that means I constantly show up. That means I have to, whatever my topic is, I have to do the research on that topic. Am I a good talker? Yes, but it makes it a whole lot better when I know what I'm talking about. So there's work that I have to do in order to bring you a product, or bring you a discussion, a podcast, whatever, that we can all chop about, right? Because nobody cares how much I know until they know how much I care, whatever. But at the end of the day, a lot of people need to know that I know something, right? Because you don't want to listen to someone that is not knowledgeable about what they're speaking on. I learned a long time ago, if you don't, the topic that's being presented, if you don't know much of what's being said, just listen. Listen to learn to listen, and keep moving, whatever. And fortunately, I'm grateful that I have a gift that God has blessed me with, that I am able to articulate the things that I'm trying to bring to you, that I'm trying to speak about. I haven't always been in that place. I had to be committed to and consistent with tearing down that limiting belief or that negative behavior that nobody wants to hear what I have to talk about. That insecurity. Am I intelligent? Very. But I would dumb myself down because I didn't want to, depending on who I was around or what I was talking about, and the intellect, the knowledge. I have been accused of thinking that I'm white, or thinking that I'm better than black people. How could you even say that I'm black? But I'm going to leave that alone. But that's something that really happened for me, and it created negative It created insecurities for me. I allowed other people to dictate how I felt about a gift that God had given me. I'm smart, okay? I own that. And that's not me being conceited. That's not me being arrogant. That's me stating a fact, right? Did I say I'm more intelligent than anyone else? I did not say that. I said I'm intelligent. That's what I said. And I stand by that 10 toes down. I affirm myself. I don't need anybody else to affirm me. And the more committed I am to affirming myself, and the more consistent that I become with affirming myself, speaking positively about myself, demonstrating the intellect, because I have faith in me, I am allowing myself to practice and create. Uh, the discipline is allowing you to see the version of me that I'm speaking of. So I don't have to convince you that I'm intelligent. I don't have to convince you that that I can articulate a point rather well. I don't have to do any of that. Why? Because if I'm just being who I am, and that is a part of who I am, it is like a river that flows. I don't have to force the flow. It just is what it is. I just have to lean into who I am, and I just have to be who I was created to be. Same goes for you. Be comfortable being who you are. There is value in your individuality. There is value in your individuality. I can't make anyone else affirm me. I can't make anyone else believe in me. Does it feel good when I have people who do believe in me? Absolutely. But if my goal in life is to make people believe in me, I'm going to fall short somewhere because people are fickle. But if I believe in myself, that's a great starting point right there. Being able to, as a man thinketh in his heart, as a man thinketh, so is he, or so does he become. That's, I want to say, Psalm the 23rd chapter 7. No, that is not. I tell you what, we're going to find that. As a man thinketh, so is he, or so does he become. Why? I'm not drawing a blank here. We're going to get to it. Give me just 1 sec. I don't like quoting a scripture and not being able to give that to you. But I want to Proverbs. Hold on. As a man thinketh. It's Proverbs 23:7. I said Psalm 23:7 is Proverbs 23:7. But anyways, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So whatever is in my heart, my mouth is going to speak that. But again, what I think, see, the heart is where, guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life, right? I must guard my heart, because out of my heart, that's where my very essence is. That's where my nucleus of positive beliefs, and conversely, negative beliefs, if I don't guard my heart, right? So I have to be in that space that I am told to guard my heart. It was not told to allow anyone else to guard my heart, because the thing about it is, I know how fragile my heart is. So I'm going to be careful with my heart, right? But you may not treat my heart the way that I would, because if you can't respect and value what I possess, or who I am based on what I possess, and you only want to tap into what I have or what I can do for you based on who I am and what I possess, I already know that we're unevenly yoked. We cannot cohabitate, because it is not a give and take relationship. It is a take relationship. It's a taking relationship. I am allowing you to take without giving in return. Whose fault is that? It is mine. Again, I teach you how to treat me. So if there's no reciprocity in what is going forth, then it is up to me to honor my own boundary and to simply just walk away. In practicing the consistency, the best thing that I can be consistent at in a healthy way is learning the art of saying no. No is a complete sentence, and no requires no explanation. Practicing the consistency of saying no. That's another way of enforcing healthy boundaries. I can consistently honor my own authentic self, my own authentic truth. If there's something I don't want to do, I don't have to do it. I'm not obligated to do anything, right? If it is not going to benefit me, if it is going to cause me harm, I don't care if it's going to benefit someone else. If it's not fitting right with me, or if it does not rest well with my spirit, I am not going to do it. If I'm just not going to do it. And I have to be consistent in hearing from myself. I have to be consistent in practicing discernment, that knowing whether something is good for me or something is bad for me, whether something is right or something is wrong, whether something is off or whether it's on. The discernment, that inner knowing that leads to my peace and my protection. I have to be consistent, because a lot of these things, I have to be deliberate and consistent in developing and cultivating the relationship with God. Because that for me is huge. If I can stay in that, if I can stay consistent in how I reach out, how I search for, how I connect with God, life's going to be okay. Life is going to be okay. That's not to say that there won't be issues, there won't be troubles, there won't be perilous times, but because I know the one who holds the times, I'm okay. Because I've gotten consistent with seeking him, and I'm consistently checking on myself, and I'm committed to the process. And because of faith, I know that I walk by faith, not by sight. What I see could be going, everything could be going awry, but my faith says, keep moving, keep going. I find myself right now in the midst of one of the strangest spaces I've ever found myself in, because I don't have the things, I don't have everything that I want, right? But I do want the things that I have. What I have is freedom. What I have is peace. What I have is love. What I have is faith. See, I want those things because it's those things that are carrying me through what seems to be tumultuous and perilous times. Those are the things that are allowing me to remain vigilant, to remain steadfast, to remain immovable, to stay consistent. I consistently speak positively to myself. I continue to commit and consistently speak life to myself. Why? Because otherwise there will be death. What am I talking about? I'm talking about a spiritual death. I'm talking about depression, the anxiety, and then anxiety in the heart of a man weighs him down. What does that mean? Anxiety causes depression. I don't want to be depressed. I have to speak positively about myself and to myself. I have to give myself grace. I have to constantly lift myself up. I have to encourage myself. I've learned how to do that. Why is that? Because there is somebody that may refuse to give up because they see me keep going. I refuse to give up because there have been other people that I see keep going. No matter what is happening around them or in their lives, they're able to remain positive and to just keep moving forward. And at the end of the day, I know that if God be for me, who or what can be against me? Everything is going to eventually work. It's already working in my favor. But I'll say it this way. One thing about those tables, they will always turn. So if it seems that I'm not, things are going off track today, the same thing that seems to be off track today could be on track tomorrow, because God is a suddenly God. Things are temporary, meaning they're subject to change. My attitude, my consistency in the process to practicing what I'm talking about will dictate. Patience is not so much about waiting. It is about my attitude while I'm waiting. And I am one of those people that I'm going to joyfully wait. If the joy of the Lord is my strength, I'm going to go through whatever I got to go through, and I'm going to grow through it also. And I'm going to rejoice while I'm going through it. Why? Because the joy of the Lord is my strength, and I'm strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. I know something that most people don't know. I have to lean on, rely on, trust him for everything. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. We quote it all the time. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart and all of your ways. Acknowledge him. Lean not to thy own understanding. In all of your ways, acknowledge him, and he shall, or he will direct your paths. I can quote that, but do I believe that? Do I live that? Have I been living that? Have I been practicing that? Am I consistent with that? Do I trust him? An even better question is, does God trust me? My consistency develops winning habits that causes God to favor me. Favoring me means God trusts me. Yeah, it means God loves me, but it also means that God trusts me. Favor ain't always fair. And it's not that I have to do work to get the favor, but if I want, I can cultivate his favor. Just as we say, freedom ain't free. Grace is a free gift that I don't deserve it. I just have it. And mercy, I don't deserve it, but I have it. But at the end of the day, I got to do something if I want to keep it. I'm never going to lose it. So I don't want it to seem as if I got to do something, because I can't do anything to make God be who he is. God's already who he is, and that's not going to change. But I have to be a willing participant in this process to understand what grace is and what mercy is, and just how to apply it, or how it relates to me in my life, my everyday affairs, and how I can extend that to other people. I have to be deliberate with that. I have to practice, right? So again, it's just the consistency of what do I believe, and if I believe it, can I stand on that? And if I'm standing on that, why am I standing on that? Obviously, I'm standing on it because I believe. And why do I believe? Because I have evidence. The more evidence I have in a specific area, the easier it is for me to believe or to act in that particular area. Why? Because my experience has dictated to me that if this, then that, right? If I trust God, all is going to be well. If I believe God, all is going to be well. If I pray to God, all is going to be well. If I talk to God, which that's all prayer is, all will be well. If I listen to God, I definitely know that all will be well, because he's guiding me. And where he guides, he provides. So whatever it may seem like I'm lacking, or whatever it may seem like you're lacking, tap in. Develop winning habits. Be deliberate. Be intentional. Be committed to the consistency of your own efforts. Most of us are so consistent with interacting with other people and their issues, and that's called codependency, that if we devoted a tenth of the time to ourselves that we devote to other people, we'd still be all right. But I don't want to just devote a tenth of that time. I want to devote all of that time to me. I come first. I come first. I prioritize me first. I can't help you if I can't take care of me. I focus on me first, and everything else will fall into place. I pursue my peace. I keep my peace in my pocket, not yours. Because if I put my peace in your pocket, when you walk away, my peace went with you. I keep my faith in my own pocket, because my faith is always with me. If I put my faith in your pocket, when you walk away, my faith goes with you. I have to be steadfast. I have to be immovable. I have to be unshakable. Why am I unshakable? Again, because I have evidence that what I'm doing works. I have evidence that the one that I believe in works on my behalf. All things work together for good to those who love the Lord and are the called according to his purpose. And the only way for me to understand and realize what that purpose is for me to remain consistently committed and to cultivate better habits by praying, seeking him early. Because he said if you seek him early, he'll be found. It is so easy to trust God. It's just a matter of I choose to trust. And once I've made the choice, there should be corresponding actions that are proof positive that I trust God, that I made the choice to follow him. Whose report will you believe? I don't know about you, but as for me and my house, I will trust, I will serve, I will love, I will worship the Lord. Let's go to Joshua 24:15 really quick. And then I'm going to start winding this down because I just wanted to talk to you guys just a little bit tonight. And hopefully I'm helping somebody. Somebody's getting something about what I'm saying. I could flash a scripture on the screen, but I won't for right now. Joshua 24:15. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's present, share screen. Let's share. Which one do I want to share? Let's share this. It can be just one moment here. All right, this is Joshua 24:15. And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose you this day whom you will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites, in whose land you dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Now, why is that they're going to serve the Lord? Well, what is it about? What is it that Joshua is saying here? Why does he choose to serve the Lord in the midst of it all? Why? I want to read the Message Bible really quick, and I want you to think on that question. If you decide that it's a bad thing to worship God, then choose a God you'd rather serve and do it today. If you want to worship a doorknob as your God, that's your choice. If you want to worship a dolphin as your God, that is your choice. If you want to worship a car as your God, that is your choice. But if that doorknob, that dolphin, or that car don't show up when you have a need, when it's a life or death situation, if it cannot speak to you spiritually and make a spiritual change in your life, then I suggest you get another God. But anyways, if you decide that it's a bad thing to worship God, then choose a God you'd rather serve and do it today. Choose one of the gods your ancestors worshiped from the country beyond the river, or one of the gods of the Amorites on whose land you're now living. As for me and my family, we'll worship God. The one and only true living God is what Joshua is saying here, because he's had a relationship with him up to this point. God has shown him favor, right? God has shown him favor. God continues to show us favor. We don't always benefit or what's the word I'm looking for? We don't always acknowledge the favor. But that's on us. That's not on God. In all things, let God be true and every man a lie. But if you want to develop winning habits, and if you want to cultivate a winning attitude, understand what consistency means. Understand what commitment is. Understand discipline. Understand patience. Understand perseverance. He that begins a good work, once you put your hand to the plow, don't take it out. Keep going. As the song used to say, keep on moving. Don't stop. No. One thing is, if you keep putting one foot in front of the next, eventually, if you look behind you, everything that was in front of you will eventually be behind you. And there will be distance in between you and the things that used to be in front of you. Once they are behind you, you no longer see them. You no longer think about them. Progress. Keep moving forward. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of The Chop with Marvin Lee. It was just a little something light I wanted to bring to you guys tonight, being consistent. Not certain what the topic will be next week, but I'll pray about it. I'm sure I'll have something midweek. I didn't shave today because I actually went to work on my day off, believe it or not, and I enjoyed that. So I'm feeling like an older man right now. You can see this gray up here and everything, but it's okay because I'm still sexy. But anyways, thanks again for joining me on this episode of The Chop with Marvin Lee. I hope you guys have a phenomenal week. I look forward to meeting you guys here next Monday night, same time, same platform. I love you. Have a phenomenal week. Be blessed.